Good morning. Today is November 29th, 2021. These are the important articles that one has to read for competitive exams, particularly UPSC or any other state services examination. So, the first article for today is Omicron Risks Center tightens rules for overseas travelers. Omicron is the new variant of SARS-CoV-2 or COVID-19 that has been sequenced and detected in South Africa. The origin is not in South Africa. So, from that perspective, read this article. This talks about travel restrictions. What are the importance of travel restrictions? Do they actually work or not? From that perspective, this becomes important. Moving on, government lists farm law repeal on today's House agenda. So, this is in regards to the repeal of three farm laws. This is going to be a topic of discussion in almost all of the examinations. Be on your point by learning every aspect of the three farm laws. Whether they are implemented or not, it's always going to be a question of what could have been if they have been implemented. Since UPSC and other state services like to play that kind of a game in regards to questions, this becomes very important. My suggestion is learn everything about formulas and their advantages, disadvantages, what was the previous system, what would be the previous system that the new formulas would have been replaced. From that perspective, read this article. Moving on, coming to page number 5, there is a picture, kind of a thing called Tasty Treats. This is about a festival that is celebrated in Bangalore, particularly in Basavangudi area. This is called Kadalekai Parishe. This is a groundnut festival. This is very famous for not only in the Karnataka states but also in other states, in some areas in other states to learn about that festival. That would certainly help you in case your local festivals are asked. If you are from Karnataka or if you are from other states, whenever you are in UPSC interviews, they might ask, explain or tell us one of the festivals that is celebrated grandiosely in your local areas. This will certainly help you from that perspective. Make a point of this. Now, coming to page number 6, that is editorial Omicron, again the new variant of SARS-CoV-2 or COVID-19. This talks about what that variant means to India. Remember, only important points, don't get into the arguments. You don't need that much of information. Moving on to next editorial, COP26 pledges need a new climate of cooperation. So whenever we talk about pledges in climate summits, remember the divide between the developed countries and still developing countries and underdeveloped countries. From that perspective, read this article. What is the climate cooperation that they are pledging about here? What are the advantages of it? What are the disadvantages of it? From that perspective, you have to read this article. Now moving on, op-ed 7, how to win over Kashmiri youth. Again, this is not something that you have to worry about in your exams, but certainly in some cases interviewers might ask you a question in regards to what will be the solution to remove the contentions between the security forces and the population of, or at least the small population of Jammu and Kashmir in regards to the security situation over there or the tactics that are implied over there. From that perspective, read this article. From exam perspective, I don't see much of an importance to this article. Now moving on to page number 8. India has turned into a nation of job creators, not seekers. So what you have to link this article with is the employment data that is available for you to read. So what are the sectors that we are seeing an increasing in employment? What are the sectors that we are seeing a decreasing in employment? What is the current scenario of employment rate in our country? From that perspective, you have to read this article. Cooperative model best suited for India, says Shah. You don't have to go into what the statement of the Honorable Home Minister has been. What you have to read about is the cooperative model has been successful in India. From that perspective, this article becomes important. Now moving on to page number 9. Rajya Sabha leaders express annoyance at CJI's remarks. So what is the data that we can mine here? So PRS legislative comes up with this data every parliamentary session as to how effective or how functioning has houses of parliament have been. From the data, postulate some sort of a theory stating that, yeah, the statement is true or false. You don't give your opinion, you give the data. So say whatever you will, but you have to stick to the PRS data because they do a comprehensive job in that regard, and quote the data and say that, but data suggests otherwise. Yes, there needs some sort of a reform in that direction. Moving on, India Bangladesh to deepen ties as partners, says Goel. So first thing that you have to explore is what are the areas under which both India and Bangladesh can develop new ways of engagement. From that perspective, read this article. Moving on to page number 10, fuel prices unlikely to go down for now. The first thing that you have to observe here is what are the parameters upon which the fuel prices around the world are set, and how do they impact the oil prices in our country. That should be your approach in this article. Omicron puts a spotlight back on safety. Just an informative article. Read it for what it is. Visa complaints to US government on India's backing for Rupee. Remember, why Visa and MasterCard are unhappy with the government of India stands that we are going to support a local payment getaway company, that is Rupee. Uh, Read what they are saying here and try to understand how Rupee is different from MasterCard and Visa. Exam perspective not important, but this is something that the trade USTA, that trade arm of United States government, is going to make a issue out of. So that is why you read this article. Moving on to page number 11, that is world. 27 Chinese jets enter Taiwan ADIZ. Learn what ADIZ is, what is the current issue between Taiwan and China, what has been the stance of India, what has been the stance of the Americans. From that perspective, you have to read that article. Coming to the text and context page of the Hindu, the first article and the only article that you have to concentrate in this regard is understanding the new variant of the virus. You don't need to become an expert on the Omicron variant. All you have to do is understand the variant and get a basic understanding of the traits that it possesses. Okay, these are the important articles that you have to read for competitive examinations. If you have liked the video, like the video, click the like button, and if you haven't subscribed, subscribe. Click the subscribe button so that you don't miss any videos. Thank you.